Hi, it's Marilyn. I am going to promote you to host, okay? Admit to room. Okay. So Nick, this is a meeting. I don't know how to do a meeting. I only know how to do events.
Oh, it's a meeting?
It's a meeting. Charlie,
Hey,
hear me?
good morning. Yes.
Morning. Okay, so I admitted you to the room. Nick, what
Okay.
else do I need to do? I know how to do events, but this is me.
Okay. You have to make it so I can share.
You make her the.
Oh, share content. Okay.
Yes.
Hold on. Yeah.
You're gonna click her?
Here comes my tech person.
All right.
Okay.
Admit to room. I've already done that. I admitted her.
Oh, there.
Right there.
Now you're going to.
Change roles.
Yep.
Make host.
Yep.
Okay, you are now the host,
Okay. Let's see if I
and
can.
we've allowed breakout sessions.
Yep.
You can do breakout sessions. You need anything else?
If you go to the upper left-hand corner where share is, you should see share my screen.
Okay. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go back in. Yesterday I had to do something to the computer. It's gonna make me do it again. So just 1 second. I've got to go in and change my settings. Did that yesterday, but I can't remember where I went. It made it so I had to go and change my privacy. And I checked it yesterday, but apparently it's gone back.
Not to make her.
Assign privileges. Change roles here. Make present.
It's on my end. Let's see. Let me do it really, see if I can.
Well, you now have presenter privileges. Did that help?
Now I've got to pull it back up. A meeting back up. There we go. Let's try it again. Share. Yes, it did.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's Nick.
Let's see if this works.
Okay, we're
We
going to.
hope. Hold on. We hope it's showing black on share my screen. So
Okay, and you can
yes, I can do it this time. Yes.
do. Okay, I'm going to leave now.
All right. Hold on. Not on yet. So hang on 1 second.
There you go.
Hey, we're in business. All right.
You good?
Yes.
Okay, have a good meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, and thanks for sharing your knowledge with us.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
I see lots of people joining.
Awesome. Hope everybody had a good summer.
Hi, Charlotte. We'll get started here in about 5 or so minutes once everybody has time to log in.
Sounds good. Excellent. Thumbs up if you guys can hear me all right.
Yeah, we can hear you, Charlotte.
Hear me good? Okay.
Mhm. All right, looks like it's 9 a.m. I'm going to introduce Charlotte. She is our second open trainer for most of us. It was in the first session. Charlotte and I spent a little bit of time yesterday working on this, trying to make sure everything's running smoothly. So fingers crossed, two not tech individuals have figured out how to get this to work. Big thanks to Charlotte too. She is actually out on another training, so she's doing this one from a hotel for us. I really appreciate you taking the time and doing this for us. So
Sure.
housekeeping, if everybody can make sure to mute so we can hear her and enjoy the presentation.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Charlotte Cronky, and I am from North Carolina. And yes, I'm in Wyoming, so I did a training yesterday. And because I have such a passion for sport education, that's why I'm here today, because I just love to share all I have to know about the sport education model and what it's done for me. So today I am going to be presenting on sport education, empowering your students to success. And we're going to talk a lot about that word empowering. So my name is Charlotte, and on the first page, you see my email address. Feel free to email me at any time. I'm more than happy to assist you in starting your own sport education unit season. I'll walk you through it. I'll help you do it. No charge. I am just here for you. So anytime, it might even be a year from now. So whatever, you just send me an email. I'll be glad to help. I'm on Twitter at NCPE4Life. I have a website that is very important for you to know, charlafzed.com, because a lot of my sport education models that I've written and use are on my website, as well as lots of handouts that you're going to see today are on the website as well. So I was the 2013 National High School PE Teacher of the Year, and I am an open national trainer. And I attribute all my success with anything I won and where I am today from the sport education model and my teaching. My teaching changed once I went and began using this model. So I'm going to jump right in today. Any questions you have, if you will put them in the chat box, and they're going to send those to me, and you feel free to email me at any time. So I am representing Open and US Games, and I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them. So thanks to US Games and BSN Sports. And we are providing service to 118,000 teachers and $68 million in curriculum resources. The main thing that we need to do today is to help teachers. So I'm here to help you. So we're going to focus on helping you improve your teaching, improve your skills, and then help your students. So that's the primary reason we are here today. We're going to jump right into the sport education model and what it's about. So sport education, to become skilled, knowledgeable, and enthusiastic sports person. A lot of people mistake this for talking about basketball, volleyball, football, learning the rules, the definitions of things and strategies that go along with that sport. But that is not even close to what this is about. Sport education involves lots of things, many things. The sport education model can be used for badminton, tennis, fitness, weight training classes, anything, any type of activity that you teach, you can use this sport education model. Matter of fact, I like to start the year off by using it because it gets the kids in teams and they start working together right from the beginning. So the outcomes of the sport education model are physical activity, physical literacy. So they are going to learn a lot about the activity that you're going to teach, and strategies, rules, but it's not just about a sport. We're going to help them become more skilled performance. We're going to help with their gameplay and their strategies, their tactics, and help them to learn to be responsible for their own learning. That's where the empowerment comes in, because a big part of this is the students are going to be responsible for their own learning, and that seemed to really help me quite a bit. This model can be used for upper elementary. I would say grades 4 and 5. I would not take it below that. and you're going to have to modify it from what you might do for middle or high school programs. I've used this in secondary. I'm a retired high school teacher, so I taught 32 years high school, and I used this with grades 9 through 12 for 15 years. The middle school, I taught 2 semesters of a middle school. I was able to use this at a middle school as well. And I have a school right now that I got started with this where I worked for that semester. They are still using the sport education model. Their principal has bought in, their entire school has bought in. It has changed their whole school dynamic because when the kids go to their classes and their English teacher wants them to get into groups, the kids automatically are trying to decide, okay, who's going to write for us, who's going to read, who's going to be in charge, who's going to do this. And they start assigning roles immediately. And that's because they learned it through their physical education class. So the teachers actually did a staff development for the entire staff to help them understand more what they were doing in physical education. How's it different than sport? Well, the students are going to be responsible for their own learning. So you as the teacher are not going to instruct everything that they do. You're going to let the students have a big part in all of that. All students participate equal time in all activities. There is never a time when someone sits on the sideline and doesn't get to participate, or they're wishing they could play, or they all feel comfortable. And that's what I like about this model. Everyone can be involved and everyone feels comfortable, and this really makes a difference. So they're not only going to learn how to play the game, they're going to learn to participate in non-playing roles. So we're going to talk quite a bit about those roles. It's not the same as sport also because whatever you're teaching, you want to use small-sided games. When I play basketball, when we played our games, we played 4-on-4. Can also play a lot of 3-on-3 activities as a lead up to that. But we played 4-on-4 games and substituted in. Doesn't matter if someone's absent from a day, they play without them. So students don't want to miss a day because their teams are going to suffer because of that. So when you sub, you've just got more people to bring in. There's no elimination tournaments. Now, I do have double elimination tournaments, but they still keep playing. And I just name it, I don't say it's a loser's bracket, even though double elimination, they go to a loser's bracket and they go an all the way out bracket. I just call it something else. If your school mascot are pirates, just call it the pirate bracket. Something else that they don't realize they're totally out. They're still having fun. They're still getting to play. You want to emphasize fair play. So when you come to a game, we're going to talk a lot about points. So when sport education begins, they want to have points kept for 2 or 3 weeks. I generally would do it through a season. So with high school, we were a 90-minute block, and we had 2 weeks for physical education, 2 weeks for health. Sometimes we would start this on the last day of health in the classroom, get their teams going on the very last day before we transition to the gym. But the points are taken for the entire time, and these have nothing to do with grades. These are team points. So a win, if they win a game in a round robin tournament or anything they're doing, they might just get 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. And really it's how many you want to give them. But if they're ready to start their game on time, I might give them 5 points. If they help someone on another team, something happened and they go over to help another team, I might give them 10 points. So it's really what you want to do for points. At the very end, you're going to celebrate their successes. You're going to record everything that they're doing. And you're going to the end, you can award them with either certificates. You can give awards for different roles. You can give them awards for the best poster. And I do have a handout that you'll see today, as well as on my website, for what I gave certificates for. Before COVID, I would go to our school career days and walk around with a little bag. I'd pick up pens, pads, anything that I could get that could be prizes for my classes. Also, you can go to police departments, fire departments, banks, see if they have anything they're willing to give you to donate to use for prizes for your class. But what you're going to find out is they're going to have so much fun after the first season They don't care about winning a prize anymore. They just want to win the season, and they just enjoy being in the teams. So I would not do a sport education model every season. You're going to need a break because it does take a little bit of time keeping up with the points and just being ready for every day. Once you get started, it goes really smooth. Keep everything in a file on your computer in a folder, or either old school for me was in files in a file cabinet. So make sure you just keep everything together, and it makes it really simple. But the students really enjoy it. On the next season, if you don't want to do the full sport ed season, but the kids really want to do one, you could simply do teams and roles and still do them working together, but you're not keeping all the points. And they still enjoy doing that also. So in sport ed, you're going to demonstrate the skill of the sport, and then the coach is going to lead in the drills that you do and the team practices. So you might even write up a drill, give it to the coach, explain how to do it, then they're going to demonstrate it. So the teams are going to help each other to improve on their individual skills. This is divided into different parts. These are the parts of a sport education season. It's usually a little bit longer than normal. If you could go 3 weeks, if you're at 60 minutes, that'd be even better. If not, as long as you have to go in your season, you get more time for strategy, more time for adding things to your season. If you're an elementary teacher, then you might only see your students once or twice a week. So in that case, your season might need to be an entire month or 2 months, say 6 weeks, a grading period, whatever you need to do. Now your points don't go for grades, but if they participate or they don't, that might be how you grade your class. So that's where your grading would come in. But elementary, you could still do this with upper elementary. It just might be a longer season. Team affiliation. Roles. You're going to give everyone on your team a role, or they're going to choose their role. You're going to make posters. Posters are very important because taking the time to do that, they're going to get to know each other. And that is very important to build that team unity at the very beginning. I had some teachers I worked with before for high school that thought that took too much time from playing, but actually you need that time to get your team to work together. And so it really makes a difference. On the poster that you see on the right, you see it's very colorful. You see a team name. You see a little circle, which is a Fruit Loop, I guess. And in that circle, they have their name, their role on the team, like a captain or coach, and something about themselves that they want other people to know. You don't do your posters in one day. If you're in a health classroom, you could start them before. If not, then just let them work on them like the first 5 minutes of each day or 10 minutes. Let everybody help color and get it going. And just the first few minutes of each day as they come into class, let them grab their posters. You can let them take an entire week to get this done. So when they finish, if you can put it on the wall, you can do that and put them all together by classes. Formal competitions would be like a round robin tournament or your double elimination tournaments. Culminating events, season championships, and those involve all participants as well. Keeping records have to do with shot charts, keeping stats, assessments, peer assessments, self and teacher. Have lots of those on my website. Some of the things I've really done are basketball, ultimate frisbee, and badminton. The badminton and tennis can be done the same. Pickleball, I have a pickleball module already written up. So all of those are written, and be glad to share those with you. They should be on my website. Open has pickleball on it as well. So make sure you go to my website, and I can send you any that you would like that might just be not fine-tuned, but I can help you write that. So at the very end, you're going to have a festivity where you call out and award people different things. Changing role of the teacher. So now instead of the teacher being in charge of everything, you're going to take a step back and you're going to let your students take over, and they're going to assume a lot of those responsibilities. The students are now responsible for their behavior. They're going to lose points if they talk while you're talking, or if they're saying negative things to other teams or their own teammates. they'll lose points for their team. They're going to lead the drills. They're going to lead warm-ups. They're going to take care of their roles. And so they are going to be leaders. Now, what do you do when you begin? So I wanted to put this up just to give you an idea of what it begins with. On my website, you're going to see sample lesson plans, day 1. And on those, you can hand that out, type up your own. Anything on my website, you can make changes to. So you can take that sample lesson first day, and the students can simply follow along verbatim what they need to do. I start off by giving each team a folder. So if you have 6 teams, you're going to have 6 folders. They either are 6 different colors, or you can simply write blue, red, green, orange, purple on the folder so they know that is theirs. A lot of times I would have a little file drawer that rolls in the gym. So their folder for first period goes into that. So all the teams have a folder, pencils go into that drawer. So it's there for them each day so they know where to find it. When they get in the gym each day, they're going to pull up their folder, do whatever's in their folder at the very beginning of class, place it back in their first period file folder and put it away, and it's there for the next day. So the first thing you're going to do is decide what sport or activity you want to do this with. I would choose your best. I started off with basketball. Basketball has always been a favorite of mine. I taught it with sport education model. It was totally different than the other, just put them in teams, let them play. This was amazing. Every student played, every student had a good time. Every student's skill level improved because their teammates were helping them. And also the teacher has more time to work with those students individually. Number of days and weeks, you need to decide what you want to do with that. What equipment do you need? The number of teams you want to have. The roles you want for that team. You're going to see a lot of options of roles. So they are called the duty team, D-U-T-Y. And they are in charge of officiating, keeping stats, keeping score, the line judges, keeping time, recording the scores. It's whatever you want it to be. With the pandemic now, I added this past year that I would add a safety monitor. So if you need to change equipment out, if you used equipment for first period and that equipment needs to go in a dirty bin, make sure your safety monitor puts it where it goes. If they need to stay a little bit apart, then make sure that those students are keeping your team safe and that they're doing whatever your protocols are for that class period. So they're your safety monitor. If it's weight training, they're making sure that everyone on your team knows how to spot and knows what they're supposed to do in the weight training class. The stats or scoring handouts that you need, you want to decide what are you going to use for each sport. I can help with that. I can even make some. I'm retired, so I travel and do presentations, and looks like that's going to get shut down a little bit. So I do virtual trainings, and I'd be glad to help you with those at any time. You need to decide what points you want to use, how long your games are going to be. Let's say if you're going to play 6-minute games, you want to sub at 3 minutes. The official, they blow the whistle. I use the handheld whistles from US Games. They come with they have batteries, so you put batteries in them, and they come with 2, and you just let them have a referee jersey, which are also sold by US Games. And those are extremely helpful because when the game ends, they take their referee jersey, their whistles, they put them in the same area where you have a clipboard for their stats sheets and any other score sheets you might want them to use. So those are really helpful to have. This is the way I do teams. And honestly, after 32 years teaching, this helped me more than anything. Now, I will say I did coach for 32 years, basketball, boys and girls tennis. I did some track, did some swimming, diving. So I was used to coaching. Your coaching skills, your coaching practices, and writing up practices are really going to help with this. So, but the way I do teams, if you have 6 teams, give each captain, choose captains. So choose 6 captains, give each captain an index card, something to write on, give them a copy of your class roll. And we're going to make 6 teams. They're not going to pick their teams. They're going to make 6 teams. They do not know which team they're going to get. So the captain's going to start off by, I don't tell them how to do it, they choose. They'll usually start off by the best athletes, separating those on 6 teams. Then they go all the way to the bottom, and this is just from watching. They go all the way to the bottom to non-participants, kids that stand around, don't really get involved, just hanging out, may not come to school every day. They might have some behavior issues. They separate all of those kids because they don't want them on their team. Now, with the captains not knowing which team they're going to get, they're trying to make sure that these teams, no matter which team they get, is going to be a good team. So they separate those. If you have some students that might need a buddy with them for some reason, then make sure, usually the kids know that those two need to go together. You don't need to say that, but when the teams are actually done and you look them over, then you might say, I'd really like to have these two on a team. If you see a problem with a team, give it back to the team, to the captains, let them make the changes. So when they're finished, the captains are not on a team. You've got 6 cards. I take up the cards. I take the cards and put a number on them, 1 to 6, so they can't see what I'm writing on them. I did that because they started bending the corners when I let them just pick a card. They would bend the corner, they would put a dot on them. They made it so they knew which card they wanted. So I fixed them by putting numbers on the cards. So the captains pick a number like 1 to 6. That is their team. I do not allow them to make trades because if they make trades and you allow them to do that, someone says, I don't want to be on Johnny's team because I don't get along with Johnny. I don't like him at all. If you do that, then when they get in the real world and they're working, maybe even in the summer, they can't go to their boss and say, hey, I don't want to work beside him. I can't work with him. I can't lifeguard with this guy. They can't do that. So you need to get them used to working with all people and making sure they learn how to deal with those situations. They can't just say, I don't want to do that. So there are no trades. That's their teams, and I never question it. And one good thing about this, you will never again have to hear, you always put me on the bad team. You always put me on so-and-so's team because you didn't make the teams. Now, the other kids, while these teams are being made, if it's the first day they're in the gym and they are getting started into this, I usually take the class and if we're going to do ultimate frisbee, I take the class and I do a drill with them and some activities with ultimate frisbee so the captains can see Susie may be terrible at some of the sports, but she plays ultimate frisbee every Sunday afternoon with her family and friends, and so she's really, really good at ultimate. And same goes for something like badminton. They might not be really good at basketball or football, but they can seriously play badminton. And it works the other way around. Kid that's great in basketball may be terrible at badminton. They may start swinging the racket too fast if they play baseball and softball. So watch the kids, and then they can say, oh, let's make a change. Susie's really good, so let's switch this one out. So that's the good thing. If you're getting it so they can see what some of the others are doing. When you finish, go ahead and get started with your class, and you'll get them going with their teams right away. These are some of the roles that I use. Captain and a coach. Captain was the first one, then they're going to choose. You don't use all of these roles every time. If you have 6 people on a team, you choose which 6 you really need. And then you could also make someone have 2 roles. So your exercise specialist could also be the motivator, getting everybody pumped up. The one you probably wonder what it is the sports council. The sports council, if there's a tie in an activity, you're doing an activity like I do one called Upside Down. If they think it's a tie or something in an activity, one member of each team comes forward and they decide who they thought finished first or who should get the points. Or if there's a problem with anything, the sports council makes that decision, not you. If you're elementary, you're going to see some of these things that you go, well, I might not want my kids making teams. Elementary, you may want to make the teams for them. So make it easy on yourself and choose the roles that you think will work best for that activity, whatever it is that you need. And you can have different ones. People add things all the time. Remember, sport education is your class, your team, just like a sports team. It's yours. You do it how you want to do it. Now, this information is on my website. You can go on my website and print this roll sheet. You can just click on it. You can delete things off of it. If you don't want to have a safety supervisor, you can delete that. Or if you want to add some things to the role of each person. This tells them what that role is of the captain, and then they sign on the right what it is they want to do. So the very first day, they're going to look over at this roll sheet and they're going to choose what they want to be. This is going to be in their folder, as well as the handout on the right. You're going to have a team contract. They put their team name, so they have to choose a team name. They get their team color. You can just assign them, or you can let them choose based on who picks the first color, first team name. Team names, make sure they have nothing to do with alcohol, drugs, or gangs, anything negative. Make sure it doesn't have anything negative. I needed help with that. So once I got my team names, I would have a kid from the weight training class would come in and check over my team names and my posters once they were made to make sure they didn't have anything on them. And every now and then there might be something on there, a drug that I had no idea that that's what it was, or a gang sign that I didn't know what it was. If I caught them doing that, they had to start their poster over, change team names, and they lost 100 points. So they knew that would happen if they did that. So they're going to choose, like say, this is the Yellow Cheetahs. So their team name are the Yellow Cheetahs, their mascots, the cheetahs, colors yellow, their captain. They all sign saying they're going to play fair, follow the rules, follow their captains, do their roles. You can also take that handout and change it and make it yours on my website. So that's something else you can do. The next phase, you're going to introduce to the students exactly what sport education is. How do you know what that is? If you go to my website, there is another PowerPoint about sport education. I also have another one, might be a shorter version as well. And I might, if I haven't done it yet, I think I'm going to go to my website and make one for teachers to show to classes. And so I think I'll work on that. That'll be my September project. So traveling now, when I get back home, I will start working on that and show them on a PowerPoint maybe what it's about, what their jobs are going to be like. But in the meantime, go to my website and look at everything you can find. You're going to explain to them the point system, the fair play. They're going to have a place to go every day. You tell them about where their folders are, where they meet each day. I would divide the gym, the floor, into grids. A lot of you teaching grids already. Make sure they know this is their spot on the floor every day. So they get their folder, they know where to go. If you locked up your locker rooms and you come in the gym, you have already made a sign on the wall on a whiteboard or poster board or on the projector and put it up on the screen. You put that up so the kids, when they walk in the door, it says, Captain, get your folder, manager, get this equipment, your jerseys, whatever you need for that day. Open your folder, do this activity. Complete your posters. They may need to do something, review the rules of the activity. Whatever it is in that folder. When you walk in the door, and if you see someone with a red jersey on over with the green team, they're going to lose points because they're in the wrong place. So once they have their jerseys on, and you can either use the wristbands or the jerseys. Jerseys work best for me. And I love having jerseys. The class I worked with at the middle school, or the whole school, their principal bought in and ended up purchasing lots of pennies for them, because when you wash them so often, they do get worn out. And so the principal bought in and gave them some money to purchase lots of jerseys. And they are on sale right now. If you go to openphysed.org and go to the Power Open equipment on openphysed.org, they are on sale at this time with US Games. The lesson one plan would be in their folder, the roll sheets. All these are done the first day. So again, if you have a health class and you can get this done the day before you go in the gym, you're a step ahead. If not, it's worth taking the time to do these little things and also have time to get them started playing that first day, working with that equipment and working with that activity. The warm-ups are going to be student-led, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, the ways you can do that. And the practices are coach-led. This is an example of what a day one would look like. You would have index cards, choose the team name. The next thing they see could be they choose their roles, then they go down, they've got to start making their poster. It tells them how many points it's worth. And then you've got a list of things that they're going to do on the first day, what the captain has to do, and they get 10 points for doing those things, the exercise specialist. So you could type this up. You can use mine and then just change it according to what you want it to be. Down at the bottom, you see team points are deducted for conduct violations during the warm-ups, the practices, and the games. So every day I would give them plus 10 points for their warm-up. But if one team wasn't doing the warm-ups properly, I might only give them 7 or 6. But make sure you tell that team why you took those points. If a team is talking while you as the teacher are talking, they lose points. I put an index card in my pocket. If I'm talking and a team's talking, I start pulling the index card out. Immediately, you're going to see the other team members saying, stop talking, stop talking. And I'll take 4 points from them. If they continue, I'll keep marking. I don't even have to say anything. The first day, you may have to say, okay, I'm taking points from the red team for talking. After that, all you have to do is touch your pocket or touch that point sheet, and they're going to stop whatever it is they're doing. Team points, you're going to total these at the end of the season. This is an example of what some points could be. You can decide what you want those to be. I have a handout like this on my website. You can go in and make this so you can give it to the students to make it simple so they know what points are going to be taken. And you can change it during the period. You may say, I'm taking 10 points from that team. I'm giving this team 10 points. It's whatever you want it to be. And remember, these have nothing to do with their grades. Grading should not come from this with it having to do with a group. So you want to grade them individually, just like you normally would do. If a student's not participating, you call home, whatever you normally would do for that student is what you want to do. This is an example of what a chart might look like. So you would have the purple puppies on the left. I used old school when I was teaching. Posters. I put these on the wall. If you're in a main gymnasium that's used for volleyball, basketball, wrestling, you may not be able to put these up on the wall, but you can take it in there each day and put it up for them, or you can project it so they can see how their points are going. When they first walk in the gym, they're going to really want to take a look at this poster and see what points they got the day before. So at the end of the period, the end of the day when you're coaching or the next morning, whenever you have time, you'll update your points. If you have a student that cannot participate at all, I try to let them participate because they can get on a team, cheer on a team. There's lots of things they can do with their team that is not actually playing on the floor. And when they participate, everybody participates in every activity. Also, one other thing, some people that do the sport education model change the roles daily. If I'm the coach today, I may be the exercise specialist tomorrow. I like to let them keep the same role for the entire sports season. So all through badminton, they're going to be the coach. The next season I would change teams, change roles. But I like them to get used to what they're doing and get good at it. And it really helps the season move a little smoother. So you can see what some of the points are. They do a team cheer, and their points are given for that. You can even let someone from your main office come in and try to judge those cheers. Let them each do their team cheers. Let them work on that a few days. And then like dances with words, fitness dice challenge. Those are things that I had them do for points. And so first place might have been 20, second place 16. Again, it's however many points you want it to be. The fair play points are the ones you take and give away or plus points every day. So those are things that you do them for. Create a Tabata workout. That's something I had each team do. And so on Open, you can go to Tabata Middle School and you see the blank handouts for Tabata. They can create their own warm-up or their own workout using those handouts. Team posters on the left is that example. If you look on the right, you see an actual example of one that I used. So it is kind of sloppy, but I had Dolphins versus the Yellow Cheetahs on court 1. This is how I did a round robin tournament. And I would do this with everything I teach because you don't have to call the names out. You don't have to tell them what to do. Court 1 and the duty team were the Purple Monkeys, and they had to do the officiating, the stats. They might be scouting. They're doing different things, but that team is in charge of that court. And then at the end, they go over and write down the Yellow Cheetahs won. And court 2, the Green Geckos and Patrick Stars are playing on court 2. And the duty team was Black Magic, and the Green Geckos won. Now, when that ends, they have 1 minute to regroup, find out what they're going to do on the next court. The next games are these two. So the Purple Monkeys have to go and see, hey, we're on court 1, guys, got to go to court 1. Hey, Yellow Cheetahs, we're officiating. They go grab their whistle and their jerseys and the stat sheets. They're all in one place. They know where they are. You no longer have to yell, where's the red team? Red, you're supposed to be playing blue. Let's go. If they're not there and on their court, they lose points. And their team just loses points. When it's time to start the game, I use Tabata Pro on a projector, or you can just simply keep the time. It starts buzzing, beeping, bang, 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 right before it's time to start the next game. If they're not ready, the other team gets the ball. They start playing. So those teams are going to hustle. Instead of you having to drag them from the water fountain and drag them onto the court, they're going to get there. This is another example of a round robin results poster. And you do have access to this PowerPoint. So if you do not get these from your school system, let me know and I can send this to you. So you'll be able to see all of these things. So I did this one on the computer. I'm going to move just a little bit faster here. Phase 3 goes into the coach is going to learn how to show the team how to do the drills. They're going to do the drills that the teacher helped them with. And they're also going to make up their own. There's going to be one day you want to have an officiating clinic. Take half the teams and show them how you want them to go down the floor. Keep it simple. If you're doing ultimate frisbee, you might have 2 officials. Do it like a basketball officials. You can have 2 or 3 and let one person be at the end, the other person's on the other side of half court. As the ball or frisbee goes down the floor, they go to the other end, explain what the handouts are going to be, what they're going to do on their stat sheets, and then you're going to teach that to like 3 out of the 6 teams. While you're doing that, the other teams are doing a team practice or doing some drills or an activity that you wanted them to do. Then switch them up. After that, you're going to do some scrimmages. These don't count for team points. You're going to run through 2 or 3 minute games with all the teams getting to play and all the teams officiating. Just 2 or 3 minutes. Rotate them on and off with everybody watching so they see how you're making changes to what people are doing. So you can have team practices. Offense and defense need to be worked on, getting them ready to play their games. So the coach of that team runs a team practice. Then you got your round robin tournaments and double elimination tournaments. This is an example of a workshop I did where I was just working and had some things set up on the wall. Derby cards. There are 1,600 Derby cards right now on their website. I just checked this week. These are free of charge. Go to derby.com. You can either print one out and put it on a projector so that all the teams are doing the same one. You don't have to print them. You can just simply pull it up on your computer, project it, and then all the teams, their exercise specialist is going to go through these different warm-ups for the day. They go through this entire warm-up. If you don't want to project it, you can print it off for each class, each group. Now, so you need 6 copies for 6 teams. You can also let each team make their own warm-up. Tell them what you want to be involved in that. What are you going to work on? Muscular strength today. You want one that really has a lot of dynamic stretching in it, dynamic warm up. So they're doing a lot of, butt kicks, high knees, and things like that. So you tell them what you want involved in it, and then they need to do that. I do have a handout on my website that shows them how to keep points. This is an example of a Tabata routine that you could get them to make their own. It is in openphysed.org. This is what it would look like on the first day. You would put this on the wall, like this is an example of a day, and you tell them exactly what you want them to do that day. So this is on into the season. This is not the first day. So the coach has to fill out the lineup for that day. On badminton, I have lineups made. I do this like you're playing a tennis match. So if you're in North Carolina, we play 6 singles, 3 doubles. But in this class, you might have them playing 2 doubles and 2 singles. So they're going to make their lineup for the day. And then they know who they're going to play, but they don't know what the other team is going to have and who's going to play singles and doubles, and still try to make their number one doubles be their better option or their better team if possible, or their number one singles player better than their number 2 if possible. But you write this on the board. You can just write it on a poster, a whiteboard, just jot things down. This is what they need to do when they walk in the gym door. This is an activity that I really like in open, and this is called Plug and Play Fitness for high school. It's partner burnout. So you find this here, and the teams are going to do this as a group, and it explains what they're going to do. Group A of the red team is going to do 20 meters down, which is like the pacer test, while the B team of red are doing jumping jacks. When the A team goes down and back, when they get back, ask them how many jumping jacks they did. And at that time, they're going to pick up that number. And the B team now is going to run down and do the pacer test down and back, just 20 meters. So everything that we do in open that's down and back, we're using FitnessGram, trying to get them to go down and back. Elementary might be 15 meters. So try to do that. Anything you can do using fitness, team building, the games, anything you can come up with for points. You're a coach. Most of your coaches, teachers, you know how to come up with things that you've been teaching with. Use what you usually do, and there's lots in open. If you need help, let me know. This is a Dances with Words activity I did with a group from South Carolina. Each team had to choose 4 words that I had that are in open. It's called Dances with Words. It's in elementary, middle school. This is a bonding activity like the first couple days of the sport ed unit. They're in their team. They have to do an 8 count to the 4 words. So we're going to put this on and see how it goes for us. Okay, and so that is called Dances with Words, and I do that in all the workshops I do. Teachers really like doing that one. It's elementary, middle school, high school, and even high school teachers love doing that one. Students do well also. Now, what I did for you, I'm not going to read through this, but what I did was on 3 different pages of this PowerPoint that you will have access to. This has a lot of writing on it, but it tells you exactly what would I be doing in a badminton season on each day. So I'm going to let you read this on your own, and you can get access to this PowerPoint. Again, I can get this to you if you send me an email. But badminton seasons are really fun to do. I do have a badminton season written already, so you can just simply go to my website and it should be there. This is an example of a points poster, and what you would do, they would vote on posters for the other class periods. And so the teams could vote on the posters. So first period is going to vote on second, third, or fourth, and second period is going to vote on the others. Down at the bottom, they vote on the best officials, duty team, captain, sports person, or the team spirit. So you choose what you want. These are examples of some certificates. The book at the very last slide I'll show you, you can order that book. It has a lot of digital things in it. And that book is great, and that's where this came from. It's written by Daryl Siegenthaler and Peter Hasty, and these are in there, and you can simply print these off. That book is excellent. Now it's on their third version, I believe. Daryl Siegenthaler passed away in July. I did have the opportunity to meet him one time. This is great to use in elementary Ninja Warrior activities where they create their own Ninja Warrior little activity. You can see what they look like on the right there, and let them create their own, and then the other teams would do that activity. This is in a badminton season, and with that season on the left, these are some things that they can do. We had 80 students and 3 badminton nets, and we're able to have everyone participating all the time. On the left, you see some racket handling sheets. Those can be used at a station. Here's the match cards I have. I have a serving competition, which could be done on a court. So every time the time ends at 2 or 3 minutes, they rotate to a different court, and they're doing stations. So one court might be the serving competition. Next court over, they might be playing Queen of the King or Queen of the Court or competition. And so everything they're doing is rotating, and they do all the courts. When you play your games, the teams participating might be red against green, and they do the actual games. The rest of the class, you have them doing something on the side. How do you implement a sport education model? You want to start small. Keep in mind the goal in mind, backwards design. What do you really want to get from this season? Start with your best class or your worst if they really need some discipline. This helps with discipline. Expect resistance just from your athletes in the beginning, because they want to be on the same team. They want to have the best team, and they don't want to be set apart. But after the first day or two, they're loving it because they're helping teach others, and they learn that they enjoy that. Go with your strength. Emphasize 2 or 3 features of it the first time you do it. You don't have to do all parts of it. You could start with teams and roles. Then you could go the next season, next time, you could add the points. Find someone who's willing to do this with you and get them to help you out. I am here for you to help you at any time. Every time I do a training, virtual or in person, I get people that want help. I love to do this. I love to help. Students participate in the way they choose. They get to know their fellow classmates better. They gain a knowledge and skills of that sport or activity, and fitness improves. The students love this model because everybody participates. Attendance improves. Students don't want to let their team down, so they don't want to be absent. They want to be there every single day. These are some of the modules that are good to use with open that you can put into them. Elementary soccer, lacrosse, basketball, pickle, mitten are great to use. Use all the fitness stuff for all the levels. I may have skipped middle. There's middle. Basketball, round net, rugby. You can do a unit, sport ed model with round net. I haven't written one. I could write one. That might be another project. So Ultimate is also there. Next one, high school modules that are great to use. Round net, badminton, there's fitness running, there's Tai Chi. You can, and definitely all the fitness. The last slide that I have here, this is the book that I really loved and I got all my information from. And I learned from Mary Lou Cookville at Greensboro University, and she was just amazing. And I did this as a part of a project, so I got some equipment for doing this when I first started. This is book is the 3rd edition. If you're going to order something, maybe you can go together as a group so that everybody can just share the book, pass it around. It does have web resources to it. For handouts, go to my website and other models. And this is Mr. Peter Hasty. I met him at the National PE Institute, and I was able to present him with an award. And this really meant a lot to me because he inspired me and he changed my teaching, which in essence changed my life. And that's really why I'm here today. So that book is excellent. If you have not been on Open, make sure you register for openphysed.org, because lots of the fitness activities and modules can be put into your teaching. So if you're doing basketball, go there and find there's some really neat basketball in middle school that work for middle and high that help you get points. There's one called Challenger. There's some on my website like Team 21. So I have lots of activities that you can get from it. Before I end, let me tell you one story. My first season, I was doing a basketball season, I had a student that never participated. We did this season. School started in end of August. We're into like November. This kid had not participated a single time. He was failing all his classes. He was probably a third-year freshman. Didn't care about anything or anybody. He was back in there again. He didn't want to play. Well, about the fourth day of my sport ed season, the kids came out. They're all just yelling coming out of the boys' locker room. I was like, what's going on? They're like, so-and-so dressed out today. Then someone else said, well, he's not really dressed out, so he can't play. And I was like, what are you talking about? The kid walks out. He has shorts on that are jean shorts that are strings hanging from them. But he's got shorts on. He's got a t-shirt. He's ready to play. He actually wanted to participate. I put him on a team just because I wanted, and everywhere that team went, I made him go with them. And he would just sit on the floor, but there's nothing I could do. I can't make him do it. His parents couldn't make him do it. He decided on his own he wanted to play. He participated not only the rest of that basketball season, the rest of the school year. He participated, and it really made a difference. He ended up passing physical education, and I really attribute this to having a model that includes every kid. Had another kid that her mother was on the school board, and she would go home and tell her mother all about it. I had no idea who her mother was, but she kept telling her mother what they were doing. This kid had hated physical education from grades 1 through 8. All of a sudden, she's in the 9th grade. She's loving it. It's because I made her feel special. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. This model made her feel special. It made her feel like she was somebody and she mattered. And if they were playing basketball, they had to give her a defense to do. They had to, get her to help out, grab the rebounds, pass them. She was included, and she actually loved physical education from there on. The other success out of this, lots of kids come out of this. I know students I've had in the past that are right now officiating in either rec leagues or for high school or middle school sports teams because they had a chance to get that whistle in their hand and try to control a game, and they just absolutely loved it. So that's my presentation for today. As you can tell, I just really believe in this. I would not do this if I didn't. I believe in open phys ed and the things that are in there. I believe in the sport education model and what it can do for you. I am here for you anytime. Send me an email. We'll chat on the phone, and I'll help you do it. If you do have any questions, make sure that you get those sent in, and you can email those to me for the quickest way. So that's my presentation for today. Thank you so much for letting me join in.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, for doing this today. I hope everybody enjoyed both the presentations we have. It's really nice to actually have something content specific for us on these days. So big thank you to you. I'm going to share out your information, Charlotte. So hopefully we can share out your PowerPoint today and let everybody take part of that and use the resources. So thanks, everybody, and have a good rest of your professional development day.
Thank you, everyone.